Oh, hello, and welcome to Better Than Common Garage. I'm your host, I think, for the most part. No, that was stupid. Today, I'm back on my lathe, my Warner Swayze number 4. And it's an M1420 that had a cullet chuck on the end operated by this lever here. Which, you know, back in the day when these were made, that was sort of like a production type thing and very useful. But not as useful as a 3-jaw chuck, in my opinion. This is a old Cushman that my dad had laying around for a number of years. As you can see, it is very dirty, which, you know, very fitting. It matches this. So I've been busy. I've been cleaning. I've been lubricating and getting things to free up. I got my clutch and brake and gear shifter lubed up and freed up. That's functioning as advertised. I got myself a tool slide for on the tailstock. Got everything working here. So it's coming along. The thing that's concerning the most for me right at the moment is my tool post doesn't function correctly. I got the guts out of everywhere to try to get it to free up the way it should, but it's still not there. But the focus for today is this newly acquired, new to me, chuck. So I'm going to try to get this thing freed up. Had to improvise. It doesn't have a chuck key, so improvise. I found this piece of real thin wall I don't know what you want to call it, square tubing. And I just hammered it in there, but it's functioning. It's moving now very, very tightly. So I'm going to run it a little bit here doing this and then try to take it apart. See if I can't get it cleaned up. And then hopefully, if I did my measuring correctly, this should bolt up to the nose of the spindle here, the face of the spindle. So that's a A1-8. That's supposedly an A1-8. Just from quick tape measure, it looks to be the same. So I'm fixing to find out. But here we go. This should be fun. All right, so I was in the middle of blowing off the dust and stuff with the old wire wheel there, and just wanted to go over a few things. Now you notice I got a little bit of lube on there, just a little bit of WD, but if you see, there's a number 1 right there, and there's a number 1 right here. So 3-jaw chucks, scroll type 3-jaw chucks, are timed. So if you was to take a jaw from the number 1 position and run it in the number 3 position and vice versa, or any other number, this, whenever you close it, they would not meet. There would be like a tooth off. And therefore, anytime you would put a part in there, you would get run out. Now, that's how you time a 3-jaw. You just unscrew, which is what I'm doing at the moment. I'm running those jaws out to the point where they come off of the scroll and you'll be able to pull it out. Now I'm doing that so I can clean everything. I'm going to pop the back of this is 2 pieces right here. That seam there. There's bolts on the back side and you can take it all apart, clean everything good. That's what I'm going to do. It actually is freeing up nicely, just a little bit of WD, and I probably wouldn't need to, but I'm curious to inspect it to see what the scroll looks like, how bad it's been hammered on, how many chips get in there and eat on it. So what happens with these, see that gap down there? Let me get my mitten off. Right in there. You can't really see right at the moment, but that opens up. Let me get this screwed out. What happens is, as you open the jaws up and you're machining parts, this gap here allows shavings and chips to work behind your master jaws and the chuck body and into the scroll, and then that clogs all that stuff up. And it can be amplified if the guys don't take good care of it and they add grease. Then the grease acts like glue and just sucks them chips right in there, and it can make a heck of a mess. So I'm going to run these jaws out, inspect the scroll from this side, clean up the jaws and stuff a little bit here and there. Then flip this big heavy mother over and get on the back side and start tearing into it. I want to pop it out, pop the scroll out, get everything cleaned up as best I can. Yeah, I mean, I'm not like restoring it, but we're going to make her shine for an old beat up chuck. You can tell it's been hammered on. It's been well used, so I'm a little concerned. It probably has a fair amount of run out, but I don't know. We'll see. I found a brand new chuck on Facebook Marketplace, a 12-inch, for $500. Has the right mounting surface, and I am severely tempted. The only problem with it is it's in Connecticut. I really don't feel like driving to Connecticut, and I imagine shipping something from Connecticut would cost more than a few dollars. Anywho, I'm rambling. Let's go. Okay, so I unscrewed it. I don't know if you can tell, but it's actually not terrible. Now, I've seen a lot worse. You can see the old Cushman logo there. Cushman back in the day was a pretty stout brand. I mean, they're still pretty stout, but they're pretty popular. Now, if you look, the rest of these are still tight. So as I go along the scroll, see that scroll there? Will, as it goes past, that one's pretty dirty. Look here, you can see the end of the scroll come up. There it is. Right there's your end of your scroll, right here. And as that comes past, that catches your jaw. And that's what operates your chuck. There's number one. So, a little dirty. No, honestly, not terrible. But I can tell it's not terrible just by how easily I can turn it with, just hand on this little itty bitty pipe. So, if it was tight, I've had them at work to where with the actual chuck key and a breaker bar, you can barely spin the chuck without gripping anything. So that's tight. This is nice. But it still warrants a good cleanup just with sitting for so long. I mean, it's probably sat as long as a lathe. So we will continue to clean. All right, I got her flipped up here. And like I was saying, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about here. See these bolts here? That's what holds these two halves together. And then you can take out your, I don't know what they call that part, your, I don't know, the second half of the scroll, screw. And then this is your alignment dowel. That should be on your spindle nose. Down there, which that looks to be a different size. I'll check that out. But anywho, then these bolts here are the bolts that hold it tight to the spindle. Now, you might notice I only got 3 bolts and there's 6 holes there, so I got to find 3 more bolts. But that will be a project for another day. And also, I noticed when I was taking it apart that the jaws themselves, the top jaws, see that 2-piece? Got your master jaw, your top jaw. you bolt on. I only got one bolt, and they're two different lengths. So I'm gonna have to try to find bolts for that too, which oddly enough can be a challenge. You would think bolts are bolts and just easy to come by, but not so. All right, got the back cleaned off, the bolts pulled out. Actually cleaned up pretty decent. You can tell it's been used hard, but I got hope. I think she'll run pretty true and work pretty good for what I'm going to do with it. Let's pull this backing plate off, which that ain't always easy, getting the halves split. We shall see. I don't have my tripod out here, or else I'd set you up, but I'll come back and show you. Can you see me now? Some bigger chucks will have holes where you thread down in, take your bolt and thread it back down in, and it lifts the back off. Not so much on this one. I might be able to I don't know if I'll be able to use this footage or not. Probably going to be pretty bad. I got something soft. Pushed on that scroll. This is fiberglass, so it's not going to damage anything. Oh, perfect. Look at that. Look at that. Houston, we got crackage. Look at that. Beauteous. Blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. Broken clocks right twice a day. All those. Big galoot. Trying to get it worked off my dowel pin. Thought I had a chisel, or as they say in France, a chisel. Ah, perfect. Don't want to mar it up. Just go nice and slow. Ain't in a rush. That dowel pin's gonna hold me up. I guarantee it. Don't want to hurt nothing. I mean, if it is, don't jump. There's a true thing. They don't make things like this. These don't make sense. These aren't weight chucks. They do. Let's see. Need two straight screwdrivers, but I ain't got one. Ta-da! Oh, look at that. That thing is beautiful. That is beautiful. All right. So my gears here, yeah, they're pretty sharp. But my scroll looks fantastic. And it's got a little bit of grease in there. Probably a good thing. It's probably what saved it. Doesn't look like it has a whole bunch of slop here in between the body and the scroll. They can be about half cantankerous to get out. I guess I'll show you the scroll coming out. Let's see. It should stay. Come on, baby. Okay, so this is what the inside of a 3-jaw scroll type chuck. This is what's known as your scroll. Got teeth on one side and a scroll on the other. A little racetrack goes the whole way in. It's basically a screw, but laid flat. And what that does is that catches your jaws. That's why they're curved like that. They fit in there. And as you turn that, as this turns, it screws the jaws in and screws the jaws back out. Maintenance on these things is really basic. Clean it, lube it. So, as you can tell in here, the body really, I'm very pleased with how that looks. Very, very pleased. This chuck is really good shape. Let's see. Yeah, there's a little bit of a lip there. They'll wear and they'll get a big sharp edge here. You can sort of see it's wore a bit of a lip in it. But all in all, this thing has for all the more I'm going to use it, this thing has 100,000 miles left on it. At least. Maybe 200,000. All right. Sorry, I've been jabbering a bunch. I'm going to clean this up and get back with you whenever it's starting to go back together. All right. So it's a day later, but I got everything all cleaned up. The jaws turned out nice. Took them to the wire wheel, got them all cleaned up, pulled them apart, cleaned in between the master and the top jaw. So I'm pretty happy with all that. It looks good. Whoa, there we go. Let's get this thing put back together. That should be more than enough grease. I don't like a lot of grease in my chucks. I find that they get gummed up quicker with chips. That's just my personal opinion. Everybody's entitled to theirs. Let's see how she flops together. That should be good. Yeah, plenty of grease, plenty. I've found that there's two camps when it comes to greasing your chucks. There are the folks that believe that grease is the absolute enemy and you're an idiot if you put it on there. There are folks that believe that the complete opposite. I couldn't see a world where you wouldn't grease your chuck. I sort of like go in the middle. I like a little bit of grease on this half of the chuck, not on the scroll side. Like the jaws, I'll just use some like maybe a little bit of WD-40, but for the most part they'll stay dry. But I like a little bit on this side. Helps them spin a little easier, in my personal opinion. Again, that's just an opinion. Nope. Oh, come on now. Whoa. Sorry about that. It's with the tapper. Look at that. Brand new. All right, let's put the bolts in the back and continue on. Maybe I'll set you back up here. I don't have my tripod. It's at my brother's house being used at the moment. Makes it a little hard to film stuff without a tripod. You wouldn't believe it. Today is the middle of December. I think it's the 13th, 14th. And it's like 54, 55 degrees out. Hence the reason short sleeve shirt. I blame Al Gore. And click. Traffic jam. All right. Oh, come on. 3, 1. All right. So you look, these slots are numbered 1, 2, and 3. All right, see that? All right, so self-explanatory. Your jaws are numbered, and then that's the position that they'll go in. And these are also numbered, I do believe. Yeah. Number there. Number there. So it all corresponds to the right spot. So you got to have it all in the right doodad. And yes, I do need hardware for my top jaws, as well as the bolts for the chuck. So come on, you came right off yesterday. Ignorant pygmy. There it goes. Okay. So now this works. Stick your chuck key in. What I like to do is I like to make sure none of them are engaging. Sorry, poor camera work. Make sure none of them are engaging. Run it around where you see the scroll start. All right, so right there it is. Back it off a little bitty. This is my number 1. This is my number 1 right here. Number one, right in. So a little bit of pressure. Oh, oh. Okay, it should be caught. It doesn't come out. Do the same thing for number 2. Back it off a little bit. You see it catch? There it goes. Let's go to number 3. Back it off a little bit. See it moving? Now, our chuck is what they call in time. Oh, got tight. What happened? Oh. Hit something I didn't like. There shouldn't be any dirt. Oh, there we go. The jaw was too far out and binding up a little bit. This chuck is not a precision chuck by any means. This is a chuck for getting mean with stuff. All right. So that's it for today, I think. I gotta bolt it to the nose, but I'm gonna wait to do that until I get my tool post fixed, which I'm working on that too. It's being a little bit cantankerous. So that might be, let's see, a little forge awl here. And how I'm gonna use this, so I'm just gonna flip the jaws around and grab a hold of the outside of that. Hey, bingo bango, got myself a little 4-jaw for doing things that don't fit in a 3-jaw. But I think I'm going to end it here. Yeah, so thank you for all you guys that are watching this, following along. Please like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. It helps the channel. This year coming, 2024, I want to try to do more videos, try to grow the channel. I want to do some merch, maybe come up with some t-shirts, some stickers, that kind of stuff. So, you know, if any of you have really good graphic design, let me know. I'm terrible at that stuff. That's why I don't have any. And, yeah, let me know. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video, and have a very Merry Christmas. See ya.